So I'll just start out with the same
Sure.
question I give everyone. Um, it's what do you think happens after this life?
For
And
sure.
then from there, I'll be asking more like whatever you believe or doubt about it. How did you get there? And just ask about your experiences.
For
In
sure.
that way. So
Um,
my name's Jeff. First of all, what's your name?
my name is Omar.
Omar.
Yeah.
Okay, good to meet you.
I wouldn't consider myself a very religious person, but
Uh-huh.
again, I feel like we as human beings are very spiritual, and we want to have an answer for everything in life.
Yeah.
And it's the answer of living.
Yeah.
Um, to answer your question, blunt and straight, what happens to us after we die is not really what is to support us what you do while we live.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's just being a good human being, and by being a good human being, being a good cemetery, person to your fellow neighbor, to your fellow father, your mother, friends, loving ones,
Yeah.
all that. I honestly think after we die, our energy is released. It's back into the spiritual realm, and
Uh-huh.
it just keeps on going, and
So
it's a
does it disperse or does it stay together? I guess
it
I
stays
asked that.
together. And
Yeah,
I feel
like
that
do you think you'll take some of you with it?
no,
Like your personality, that sort of thing.
for sure. Well, I feel like how they say ghosts and all that, and people after you pass away, they still feel their presence and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
I feel our energy still lingers here, but it's also not bad energy. It's in a sense, just trying to reassure people, it's
Okay.
loved ones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um,
And I have talked to people that like have experiences with they think it's a ghost or some kind of
for
spirit,
sure.
kind of thing or something. So
I
yeah.
honestly think everything falls down also into if you have good morals,
Yeah.
I feel like we as humans have this thing, a gland in our brain that tells us once we die, it releases so much. It releases not a toxin, but
Oh, like a hormone
a
you mean
liquid
or
or hormone that
uh-huh.
basically makes us feel super good. But it's also whether it goes into this whole idea of our brain understanding that our morality is not as bad as others. Like if you obviously steal and kill people, you're not gonna be thinking good thoughts when
I
you're passing
see.
to the other side.
Yeah.
You're gonna be thinking the worst of the worst because your brain is just amplifying that to the
Okay.
10.
So it's kind of like you believe in karma, but it's more of a physical
For sure.
reaction to how you've lived your life, not a spiritual one or one where you've been judged or
I feel like
that
it all
sort of thing.
kind of connects though.
Uh-huh.
Like everything in life, in a sense, it all works together, and it
Yeah.
all has to. It all has gears, and it all keeps rotating and keep going.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's gonna be its glitches and its problems at times.
Did you grow up with a spiritual background, religious upbringing of some
My
sort?
parents believe in saints and all that stuff,
Uh-huh.
so
Catholic then? Or?
they're Catholics.
Yeah.
I somewhat believe in there's a higher being. I'm not sure if he is exactly what we believe in the Bible and stuff.
Yeah.
But I do believe there's strong power in faith in itself,
Uh-huh.
in union and in groups.
Yeah.
But faith is what you make.
Yeah. So so were you raised strong Catholic? Like did you go to
I got my
catechism
baptism.
and
Yeah, I
all
did my
that?
first baptism and my communion, but
Uh-huh.
I never really
Not confirmation?
no,
Okay.
I never really fit in that.
Yeah.
It's just I didn't really feel like I needed to go to that place for me to truly show my devotion to a religion.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not really needed. I've seen really toxic people go to church and they think they're saints, but they're not.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But that's just human nature.
Now, would you say you believe in a higher power, a creator? I'm not talking about like the Christian God necessarily, but
I believe in a higher power and creator because there has to be something that made all of us.
yeah,
It's a one in a more than a billion chance
yeah.
for all of this
Just
to happen.
multi-billion billions
And
of,
then
like if you think about, I don't know if you ever heard of the fine tuning of the earth for life, like
Mhm.
just that whole idea of
It's just
all the,
one more temperature
yeah,
off. We all
yeah,
die.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And even before I heard that, I was convinced like nothing, I can't believe that nothing created everything.
That's
There
it,
had to
exactly.
have been a creator the creator probably, you know, the Bible talks about God as the great I am,
Mhm.
which means he's always existing in the past, present, future, all at once, all at the same time.
He's existence
So
itself.
yeah, so God is like beyond um
Comprehension.
beyond time. I think he's beyond you know, our ability to fathom him, you
Mhm.
know, but he's beyond time because he refers to being, yeah, like I say, the I am, you know, and I've just kind of come across that idea and just it's got me thinking, you
For
know.
sure.
So, but yeah, so 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 you believe there is a higher power. Do you think it's possible to have a relationship with your creator? You know,
Um,
like where do you think have you ever felt like God speaking to you or anything like that?
no, and I feel like for people that God does speak to them, or like they never really mean it. Like I feel it's never really literal. I feel it's more like I guess
Emotional or
emotional, and like if they really are struggling at the moment and they pray and they're asking for help or guidance.
yeah,
I feel just if you're a good person, like I say, it all falls back down to that. You're gonna obviously get good results in your life, and
yeah,
you're gonna get good energy sent to your way, you know. Because obviously, if you're a good person, you only attract good people. Well,
yeah.
not fully, right? You bad people are always
Oh
attracted
yeah,
to good people, but
yeah. You
you
can
as
take
a
advantage of.
yeah, but you as a good person, you should try to differentiate
Yeah,
and just really
yeah.
letting those people into your life, and you deciding which people to let into your life, right?
Right, right.
So I feel that's
Yeah.
key.
And have you checked out different religions? Like, are you
Uh,
open to that kind of thing, or just feel like you got it all figured out?
I don't think I have anything figured out like that, but it's for sure a good like brain thinker. Like makes me think.
Yeah,
Um, but obviously, I feel right now how me coming up and how I gotta go to like school, work, and stuff like
yeah.
that. We hardly have even time to connect with our own spirituality. We're
Oh
just
yeah.
always doing something, and it
We're you know
and
we're preoccupied with our problems,
mhm,
or we're preoccupying ourselves with entertainment or busyness. You
yeah,
know. Yeah. One thing you said is that like this life is more important, and I would have to say if there is an eternity to be lived, like if there is a life after this one, and we're in that for a lot longer than here, then it would make sense to take that seriously,
for
you
sure.
know, like especially if this life is like a preparation for that one,
Mhm.
it's worth thinking about. And so I'm, as a Christian, I'm looking at heaven as this is my chance to be back with my creator in a right relationship with God, and I'll be there forever. That's what the Bible teaches is it's an eternal state, um, and I don't think of it in terms of what's in it for me. I mean, actually, I do. I think heaven is God. Heaven is to be with my creator, and that's
What is
that's
heaven to you, if you don't
it's
mind me
so it's
asking? Would it be
so it's
like its own heaven for every person individually?
no. I mean, so I base what I believe on the Bible. I guess I feel better. I feel like I know better than to try to make it up myself.
Sure.
I mean, I could make up all sorts of ideas, and and to be honest, as I've read the Bible, there's different things in the Bible that I wouldn't make up. Like it's, they say truth is stranger than fiction.
Mhm.
It's like if I was going to make up a religion, this isn't what I would write. Some of the things in there, but the idea of like what is heaven. Jesus said, I am eternal life. So we believe Jesus is God in the flesh, and to know Him is eternal life. So like and I feel like I'm experiencing that. Like heaven has already started in a way. Eternal life has already started, even here on earth.
Mhm.
Um, although it's hard,
It
and
is.
although it's difficult, but it's being in a right the Bible calls it righteousness, a right relationship with God, with my Creator, you know? And if I'm not in that right relationship with God, I'm outside of that, you know, I'm like turning my back on God. I'm going my own direction and rebelling, doing my own thing. That's what, you know, that's what the Bible basically says, you know, like ever since the beginning, man has been rebelling against
Rebelling
God.
against God.
and we've broken our relationship, and how can we get that back? And that's where Jesus comes in, you know.
Yeah. That's the
But,
message we're trying to connect everyone.
Yeah. So I'm not Catholic. I'm, you know, Protestant Christian. Go to a, you know, like the church that I would say that the biggest difference between Catholic and Protestant for me is my authority is not necessarily the teachings of the church. It's the Bible, you know. And so they really tell you, and they really teach us to read the Bible for ourselves.
So you're self-taught, basically.
Yeah, but I sure wouldn't want to do it alone. You know, we need the church to, you know, to teach each other.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's your community. That's your organization.
Yeah.
That's where you guys all huddle.
And I don't know if you're aware of church history much, but you know, the Protestant Reformation, Martin Luther and all that, started right about the time that the printing press was invented. And so then all of a sudden Bibles are available for everyone. And so, yeah, so as Protestants, we have much more of a tradition of, you know, being more Bible oriented, you know.
For sure.
And so, yeah, there's centuries of, you know, tradition that developed with the Catholic Church. And I don't know, did you like, well, you don't have too much background as a Catholic, but probably didn't get, so, you know, like some priests are different. Some, you know, some will encourage you to read the Bible more than others. But yeah, so the whole story of the Bible is this story of redemption, as far as like we've lost our relationship with God, and how can we
ourselves to like that's why he did the Tower of Babel too, right?
Well, the Tower of Babel is interesting
because everybody was united as one, because we all spoke one language.
Yeah.
Eventually.
So, but the whole idea is that
you guys are trying to reach me.
Yeah, by our own efforts. Yeah. And actually not even trying to reach God, it was more like trying to make a name for ourselves. Like
trying to prove ourselves that we are sustainable.
Because the problem ever since the beginning was even Adam and Eve, they were tempted by the forbidden fruit. By the devil. He said, Eve was, you read that? So you can be like God, knowing good from evil. In other words, we can be our own gods. We can, you know, determine our own fate and establish our own rules. Yeah, and so the Tower of Babel is another good example of that. It's like we're trying to make a name for ourselves. We're trying to do it ourselves without God, you know, and that's why God
punishes. Changed all of us to different languages.
Yeah. So you've read some of the Bible.
Some of it. Some of the stories are interesting for sure. You know, if you like storytelling, some of the stories are really like, damn, makes you wonder. But like, obviously, I read Revelations as well, just because you need to know.
Yeah, you seem like you would like Revelations.
Not that I like, but it's just for sure an interesting read.
Yeah, it's kind of scary, to be honest.
You hear sirens, you hear like, what is it, horn? And then that's when you know everything's gonna hell is rising, right? When that happens.
Yeah. I've kind of given, like, there's that's a book that different Christians of different backgrounds, you know, maybe hopefully agree to disagree on, like, what does this mean? And I think it's kind of.
So I had a question.
Yeah.
Just because I saw Mad Men. I'm not sure if you know that show. Mad Men?
Mad Men?
Yeah.
The
advertisement agency. So in the show, there's this one guy, and he asks Don, the main protagonist of the show, is like, "You think God is gonna, or heaven is gonna be awkward when I go there and I remarried?" So he has 2 wives. So what's the deal with that? Do you think he's gonna?
Actually, Jesus was asked that very question because they were trying to trap him, and so they were trying to. So they said, okay. Because the tradition then was if a woman, they didn't have any societal safety nets for women, so the only safety net was you got to find another husband if your husband dies. Okay, so the religion, I believe it says it in the Bible, was that if a woman dies, the brother of the husband has to marry her. So they're trying to give Jesus question to trap him and say, okay, here's a question you can't answer, or, you know, you're not as smart as you think you are. So they said, suppose a woman, her husband dies, she marries the brother dies, she marries another brother, 7 brothers, all, you know,
You just
who's
think.
she going to be married to in
Right.
heaven? And Jesus said, well, in heaven there won't be marriage, and people won't be given in marriage. You'll be like the angels, you know. Not that we are angels,
Sure.
but our relationships,
Will
I'm
be
thinking
higher
it's
than
yeah,
touch.
like and our focus won't be necessarily on
Yeah,
physical
for sure.
intimacy, or even exclusively being with one person, but more on God and worshiping God, and
Yeah.
we exist for
Working
our
together for
Creator.
Him.
Yeah. So another thing about heaven, it says, you know, that all the nations will be gathered together, you know, which is cool, because in this world we have a lot of segregation and a lot of and when Jesus says, you know, when he says the Lord's Prayer, he says, pray that thy will be done here on earth as it is in heaven. That's what I think is like, we're supposed to work towards
Yeah.
the kind of a world that heaven will be, you know? So I think heaven is I think it will be a great place. It'll be a place where you don't have to lock your door. You could trust other people. You can be open and honest, and yeah,
Just feel safe.
I'm not so big on the details that the Bible offers about heaven, because it's such a place that is beyond our thinking that our human words can't describe it, if that makes sense.
I guess I feel in a sense they made the Bible in that way for you to comprehend it, trying to also take away from that and also make your own idea of where the term comes from.
Yeah. I mean, most of the descriptions are heaven is like this, or heaven is like that. And so it's just
Very
using
broad.
examples that we can relate to. And the same works for hell. And so in the same way, heaven is really, really good,
Hell
and
is
hell
just
is
horrible.
really bad. And I'm not going to worry about the details. I just know I don't want to go there.
For sure. It's like prison.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go there.
And there is, you know, difference of opinion between Christians of what hell is. Will it be conscious or unconscious, you know, punishment forever and separation from God? Definitely.
Yeah.
But how, if and I want to make this quick because it's kind of
Sure.
cold
Yeah,
out,
it is
right?
getting cold.
Would you, if you died today, Omar, and you
Hopefully
found,
not.
yeah, God bless you. I hope you live a long, happy life,
Thank
right?
you, because I'm driving.
But yeah. But if you were to die today, and none of us is guaranteed another day,
Right.
are you 100% sure you'd be in heaven if the Bible is true? You know, I'm not saying you believe the Bible is true, but if it is, would you be in heaven? You know?
I think as a human, and for what I've done in my 22 years of life, I think I would go to heaven, because I wouldn't say I'm a bad person.
Yeah.
I haven't killed anyone. I haven't, robbed anyone. I haven't, put a gun to someone's head. I feel if God is this person who's really understanding and loving and caring for his own creation, us,
Yeah.
he will understand that, because he's the all-knowing one, all-seeing. He's seen our actions.
Yeah.
They speak for themselves.
Yeah. So, do you feel like you'd be one of the good guys? There's some people that would
What
go to
is
hell.
good though?
I mean, it's a good question.
You know?
I was going to ask you that, but like, what's the standard? What, like, if we're judged by God, how would he?
That's what
how
I
would
was
he judge
going
us?
back to what I said earlier. It's like you got people going to church who claim they're good people because they go to church.
For sure.
They don't care about.
And some people are just kind of like putting in their hour a week, and then they
like
can say,
service.
"Look at me! I did my, hour of church, and I'm good to go. I can live like hell the rest of the week." And I realize that. I'm aware of that.
My dad is very religious. I wanna I guess end it on that point. Is just like my father hates that I don't fully embody the idea of God and his religion.
Yeah.
Or family religion. My mom's also really strong in it.
Yeah.
my brothers are picking it up too because they're getting older. They have a house. They have a
Following
sister.
your
No,
lead?
my dad. My
Oh,
dad's
your
lead.
parents did? Okay. Yeah.
To be very
So
have faith.
you're the black sheep of the family or
Something like that,
the
right?
rebel?
It's not that I'm a rebel, but I like to be open-minded into
Yeah.
like the ideas. And for sure, it's not that I want to say I'm completely like against religion because I'm not.
Yeah.
I just like to believe there's an answer out
Yeah.
there, but sometimes the answer is also in ourselves, and we have to have love for ourselves. And like a lot of things are possible in this world, but having faith and thyself is what's, in my opinion, one of the most important things.
Yeah.
And then I feel religion would be second, but I feel like in a lot of other people's cases that would be reverse, right? Religion is first, my body's second.
Yeah.
Because this body's not going to be carried on to the heaven,
Right.
right?
Yeah. It's like a shell.
It's a shell, it's a vessel.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I wanna let you go.
For sure.
But
Thank you.
let me say this. I want to offer. This is something that it's a big subject,
For sure.
right? And I would love to. I have a series of lessons, 4 lessons,
Mhm.
where I bring people through like what does the Bible say about these things. So it's the basic. I would call it the basic, not just the basic gospel or the basic message of the Bible, but like some verses to go along with it to help people realize, what is Christianity all about.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to give you my information, and you could, let me know if you're interested. I would meet you at your house or at a coffee shop or whatever. I'm thinking maybe once a week, whatever's convenient for you. I'm actually a high school teacher, so I couldn't be during the day, but in the evenings, that sort of thing. But I'll give that to you, and I hope you'd consider it. You seem open-minded. You seem like you'd like to learn more. One thing I'll say real quick is, if you think about if God exists and we can't fathom God, right? It would really take God to reveal Himself to us in a way that we can understand.
Yeah.
And rather than us depending on our own ability to figure God out, right?
Mhm.
And that's what I've experienced the Bible to be, is God's revelation of Himself, not just saying this is who I am and what I'm about, but actually demonstrating it through history. And so we learn from it. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you. And
We're shaking.
here's the
I'm trying to make sure.
here's the information. Yeah, I'm a teacher, and I often just stop somewhere on my way home and have these conversations, and
Your
then
YouTube channel's on there too?
this is the YouTube channel right
Good
there,
job,
and I'll have this up there hopefully within a couple days,
Thank you.
and then that's my number,
For sure.
and
That's cool. Where are your churches?
I go to New Life. It's right on 31st and Normal.